Hello. Today we were playing Heroes Advent. So last time we played Max's route, and you got to see the entire update, the main story of the update, which is Day's trial, as well as the result of his trial, the verdict that was handed out. So if you haven't seen it, you can go back to that video and look at it. But today I'm going to cover the other routes. So if you watch the other video, you see Max first, and he would tell you about what's happening while you're behind a jail cell. So, and plus, depending on who you pick, the route you pick, you'll not only will see that character first within a jail cell, but doing the witnesses, you'll get different witnesses to speak for you. Some might be Toby, some might be some of the other characters. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start with Wei. When you finally open your eyes, it's quickly evident that you were in an old prison cell. The voices grew louder as the senses returned to your limbs. It was still a struggle to open your eyes until one of the voices pierced your foggy mind. Hey, I'm his boyfriend. That's again Zipson. Have you even told him what's going on? He must be worried and confused out of his mind. I understand, but your name is not on the list of verified visitors, Raymond. Alex orders, no exceptions. You gotta be kidding me. Even Feston made it onto the list, but I didn't. Step back, Raymond. If you continue to act out of line, I have you thrown in your own cell as well. Right? You went to the iron locked door, only to find it locked. Right, I'm alright. You continued shouting out into the dark corridor, hoping your voice carries out to where he was. Be quiet. Dave, hold on, I'm coming in. Raymond, stop, we said. You heard both guards grunt in pain as the sounds of collision and clattering weapons and armor were heard in the distance. You saw the familiar red flash emerge from the darkness, skidding to a halt just on the other side of the iron-barred wall. Yeah, whatever, man. We don't get paid enough for this shit. Yeah, I hear ya. With the city in shambles, we're not getting paid at all. The guards didn't appeal to the westway, instead sounding more like they've both returned to their posts, complaining about the bruises courtesy of your panting dragon friend. Dave, are you alright? Are you hurt? Ray contorted his body every which way to get a look at you through the bars. I'm alright, love. What about you and Tristan? He's doing fine. They told me he's been assigned to a security detail that escorted the refugees out of the city. They're headed for the ship bound to Hainan. It should be safer there since the king's influence hasn't spread that far inland. That's good to hear. Sounds like he really took after you, huh? Well, just wish he'd take the good and leave the bad. Anyway, what happened at the Inner Sanctum? Did you find Elisa there? I did, but you told Ray everything you could remember. The ambush with Ashford, his true identity, the fight in the ensuing pursuit, and what little you remember when you found Elisa. That's a lot for anybody to handle. I'm glad you made it out in one piece, Dave. Yeah, me too. Still hard to believe that Ashford was a traitor. I told him so many things. Maybe that's why he took the job. Taverns are usually a hub of conversations. Now I can't trust anyone anymore. Anyone could be listening in on us and using that against us. I don't know if I should be angry or just sad about it all. He reached out to raise his hand, resting over the horizontal bar of the cell. It's alright, Ray. I'm sure everyone sought to hear about it too. Especially Kody, I bet. He trusted him with his pride and joy when he had to join us again. He must be devastated. I hope he's not taking it too hard. Actually, how are things out there? We got reports from the other scouts that the GC's fall destroyed almost half the city. The residential commercial districts got hit the hardest. Luckily, it sounds like that was all evacuated before we even arrived. Half the city? That's horrible. I'm glad everyone had made it out safely. What about Lisa, though? She made it out alive. She made it out alive. Maker's blessing. She's still recovering in the infirmary. You actually woke up before she has. You let go of a breath you hadn't realized you had been holding, relieved that you had both made it out of that ordeal intact. That's good. I have to apologize to her once they let me out. You wouldn't happen to know when that is, would you? Soonest, but not as a free man, unfortunately. What do you mean by that? Alaric told us that he's been put under pressure to put you on trial for attacking Elisa and causing the crystal to fall in the first place. But I'm innocent. No, yeah, I believe you. But you're also the only one that was there, Dave, even if Ashford tricked you into disrupting Elisa's magic. The only thing everyone has been saying was how you put Lady Spring and everyone in Crystal Coast in grave danger. The district representatives will be judging your case, and everyone you've ever interacted with is going to testify. That includes me. But don't worry, love. You have my full support. I know you wouldn't lie to me about something that's important. You're a kind and caring person, Dave. It's what made me fall in love with you. Don't you fall for everyone, though? Hey, details. The fact is, I chose you as my one and only, I swear. I know. I'm just teasing with you, Dave. Oh, man.
Play. Pause.
Anyway, y'all, execute the also. Oh yeah, hey, this way. Death. Who should not held. You let go of a breath you hadn't realized you had been holding, relieved that you had both made it out of that ordeal intact. That's good. I have to apologize to her once they let me out. You wouldn't happen to know when that is, would you? Soonest, but not as a free man, unfortunately. What do you mean by that? Alec told us that he's been put under pressure to put you on trial for attacking Lisa and causing the crystal to fall in the first place. But I'm innocent. No, yeah, I believe you. But you're also the only one that was there, Dave, even if Ashford tricked you into disrupting Elisa's magic. The one thing everyone has been saying was how you put Lady Spring and everyone in Crystal Coast in grave danger. The district representatives will be judging your case, and everyone you've ever interacted with is going to testify. That includes me. But don't you worry, love. You have my full support. I know you wouldn't lie to me about something that's important. You're a kind and caring person, Dave. It's what made me fall in love with you. Don't you fall for everyone, though? Hey, details. The fact is, I chose you as my one and only, I swear. Yeah, I know. I'm just teasing with you, Ray. You stuck your tongue out at the dragon, giving him the opportunity to playfully nip at it with his fangs. I just hope that everything will get better from here on. Me too, love. Me too. Your conversation was interrupted by the sound of the heavy door at the end of the hall swinging open. Peering around the edges of the bars, an eagle clad in a full suit of armor emerged from the dark hole. Ray is the suspect at this time. And let's proceed to court. He looked aside as Ray approached the witness stand, accompanied by a rather bulky ram who seemed to be the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sit to stay in of it. I do. Please state your name in full to the court. Raymond Azario Ignace. All right, you may be seated. Sir Ignace, just call me Ray or Raymond, please. Right, Sir Raymond, is it true that it was you who escorted Mr. Dave here to Lady Springs location? Yeah, it was me. Could you tell the court why? Well, Sir Alaric wanted us to secure Visram Park and check up on her well-being. Now, why is it you weren't with him in the end? Well, on our way, we ran into a group of civilians that badly needed medical care. As the teams wanted a spotter, I went back to bring a rescue team towards those folks. He was only supposed to check up on Lady Spring, so I thought he'd be able to handle that alone. So you saw him heading into the inner sanctum? Yes. Was there anyone else besides him? No, I'm pretty sure there was just him. And do you believe this Ashford to be a real person? Yeah, he works at Kody's tavern as an assistant. The hawk then stepped back to his panel before returning with a sword, brandishing it to the whole court. Your sword. This sword was found close to Mr. Dave when he was first discovered at the scene. Do you recognize it, Sir Raymond? Yep, that's the sword Lady Spring gave to him. Your Honor, I would like to have this sword marked as People's Exhibit Number 1 and ask that they be admitted to the evidence. Does the defense have any objection? No, Your Honor. Very well. The sword will be admitted as People's Exhibit Number 1. Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Sir Raymond, will you say that Mr. Dave was adept at using the sword? Well, I mean, he's trying. He can swing it a bit, even managed to finish off some monsters with it. I see. Then, were you aware of any reason as to why Lady Spring would have given the sword to Mr. Dave? As we understand it, Mr. Dave was recruited by the guild not long ago. Was it so special? What is so special about him? What I even allowed to say this? Is there a problem, Sir Raymond? The dragon stopped the guild master before the look, to which he replied with a firm nod. Right. The reason why is because Dave is a prophesied hero. Needless to say, what Ray said stood the jury to its core. Many of them began hollering and pointing fingers at them, calling him names that he was telling lies. Order in the court. You may continue. Thank you, sir. Hey, I don't know the full details, but I ain't lying. Dave really is from another world. It was Lady Spring herself that detected some magic and managed to pull him over to where she was, if I'm not mistaken. So it was her who decided Dave to be the new hero. Would any of you argue against that? He broke a cold sweat as an unusual silence loomed over the courtroom, All eyes were on you, and you felt like the stares were lasting forever. Eventually, it was the guildmaster who decided to speak up again. Any further questions from the people, Mr. Miguel? Your Honor, the people rest their case. Does the defense have any questions? He glanced aside to the fox, who was much too in shock to articulate an answer, so too was the hawk, who still seemed shaken as he retreated to his panel. Mr. Goodman. No. Not at this time. Not at this point in time, Your Honor. Very well, the current witness may be dismissed. Is the defense ready with its case? Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls the close friends of the defendant to the stand. The fox had barely regained his composure as the next witness was called. Metz promptly approached the stand, stopping short by the clerk. He raised your right hand. You solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sic dus te edivit. I do. Please state your name and full to the court. Maxwell Silverbank. You may be seated. Sir Maxwell, you are the leader of the team that the defendant currently operates under, correct? Correct. 4th Infantry Division. Has the defendant ever exhibited any unusual behavior under your watch? No, never, sir. I see. Could you please tell the members of the public your personal experiences with Mr. Dave? Of course. As far as I'm concerned, he's a good trainee. He might have stumbled here and there, but his growth has been quite faster than the others I've coached. Despite everything, I'd say he is a kind and caring guy. I'd even say he's slowly becoming the heart of the team. Because without him showing up, we might not even be a team any longer. The 4th Division's dissolution was frankly long overdue, all because of what's happened in the past. Which might have divided us, but thanks to him we've managed to reconcile. Though his actions today against Lady Spring might have been questionable, I'm sure it was all a misunderstanding because his heart was in the right place. Maybe even C would vouch for him. I see. And lastly, have you any remarks on this Ashford character that Mr. Dave alleged to be responsible for all this? Ashford, he's a snow leopard. Kody's assistant. I've seen him around a lot whenever I grab a bite at a honeysuckle. Everyone likes him for his professional attitude and mannerism. That's why he's been working for Kody for a long time, from when he still had his other assistant around. And what happened to the other employees, sir? I don't know. You'll have to ask Kody that. I only know that he recently found Tensai as replacement for that spot. That said, I'm also shocked to hear all the terrible things that Ashford might have done. It is an unforgivable crime against our city and its protector. I see. Thank you, Sir Maxwell. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Any questions from the prosecution? No, Your Honor. I want the witnesses dismissed. Kody promptly approached the stand, stopping short by the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sic dus te edivit? I do. Please state your name and full to the court. Kodiak Dmitry Middendorfy. You may be seated. Sir Kodiak. Just call me. Just Kody is fine. Alright, Sir Kody, the court understands that you are the owner and head chef of the honeysuckle, correct? Yes, I am. And now you are currently operating as a mercenary in the same team as the defendant. Yes, sir. I might just get this one. Finn promptly approached the stand, stopping short by the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Sit dues to edit. I do. Please state your name in full to the court. Finn Akora Memoir. Is it Finn Asora Memoir? You may be seated. Sir Finn, can you tell us what you do for a living? Yes, I am one of the Gallanteers Coast Guard. What is your connection to the defendant? He is the lover of my best friend, Raymond. I see. Would you say that Dave has influenced Raymond's behavior throughout their relationship? Oh, definitely. In which way, if you may specify? Mostly positive, and could you elaborate on that? Well, before Dave came around, let's just say that my friend was feeling rather lost and aimless in life, but since then, Ray's changed for the better. He spent less time on his lonesome and more with the others. I even go so far as to say that because of Dave, Ray now has a more positive outlook in life and in the future. I see. Can you share any personal experiences with the defendant? We haven't interacted a whole lot, I don't think. I like Ray, who I still see every other day. Dave only sometimes visits my hut and hang out. Nothing out of the ordinary. Dave seems like a decent person to me, if not just outright a good guy. Right, and lastly, Sir Finn, have you any remarks on this Ashford character that Dave claimed to be responsible for all this? I've never met Ashford in person, though I did hear about him through Ray sometimes. All I knew that he was one of the waiters at the tavern, but since I rarely ever go there, I cannot describe him to you. But if what's said about him is true, then it's a disgrace and a travesty against our city. Sadly, I cannot really comment on the nature of his actions, that is all. Thank you, Sir Finn. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Any questions from the prosecution? No, Your Honor. All right, the witness is excused. Justice, I'll call the defendant. Granted. Calling defendant Dave to the stand. Alright, so it's everything for Ray's route. So I skipped Dave and Kody because their dialogue was the same as when we played Max's route. So we decided to play Ray's part since this is his route, and Max's dialogue is different from when we play his route. And this is the first time we see Finn testify on the stand, because back in Max's route it was Toby who testified, but we got to see Finn get his testimony of David. So we're now going to let's see, I made a save here for Matt from Alex. I'll do Alex's part. When you opened your eyes, you were quick to realize you were in a cell, specifically a dungeon cell, based on the cobblestone floor and walls and the thick iron bars in front of you. Through the bars, you could see a familiar body seated in a wooden chair just opposite your cell. Alex? 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 It didn't take much to wake Alex up with a startled snort. The lynx groggily lifted his head, fixing you with a dazed gaze. Dave, took you long enough to recover. You've wasted our valuable time. Geez, sorry, I didn't know getting knocked out was so inconvenient for you. You growls though you weren't really sure what exactly it was that he was so upset about. Actually, what did happen, and where exactly are we? I never seen this place in the city before. The report I received said you and a lady Estria were brought to the infirmary once they found you at the heart and collapsed. Then they cleared you as stable. The guild's guardsmen brought you down here. Oh, that's right, the Crystal Fair. Will you mind explaining everything that happened, Dave? Yes, I'll try to remember everything. You recounted the events that took place in the park from Asphod's betrayal to illusion to interrupting Elisa to the ultimate collapse of the Guardian Crystal. All the while, Alex sat back in his chair listening intently. So Kody's former assistant was the one behind it all. Who would have thought that he was the one cooking up trouble right under our noses? What do you make out of it, Alex? It's only a hunch. Do you remember the notes that we found while in the park? The cryptic ones about cats. What about it? It might be nothing, but perhaps he was the one that snuck that note onto us. But why would he do that? Who knows, maybe as a form of taunting us. There's not much use speculating about it now. Well, I'm glad that you made it out alive. Seems you're quite resilient. I'll have to add that to your file. You've been keeping notes of me? Well, you're my test subject after all. There's no one else quite like you out there. Well, that's sweet of you to say, Alex. It is. Not like there's any other no elemental out there that we know of. That's not. Well, never mind that. What's happened since the crystal's fall? Our scouts made a cursory survey of the damages. The GC's fall destroyed approximately 53% of Crystal Coast, 27% belonging to the residential districts, 22% to commercial districts, and 4% to the industrial sector. Thankfully, it appears that the only casualties from the crystal were structural and not mortal. That's a lot of damage. How's Elisa doing? Lady Estria is alive, if unconscious yet. She is currently being watched over in the med bay as we speak. Thank God she's safe. I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if something bad had happened to her. I'll apologize to her once you get me out of here. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. Huh? Why not? I shouldn't even be here right now. It's only because of Alec granting me special privileges that I've been able to come and see you. I'm honestly appalled they went so far as to imprison you. At last, despite my vehement protests, none of them would heed what I had to say. All he said was that it's for the best. What is he planning on doing? I overheard some of the guild staff murmuring about a court trial with representatives from each of the city districts. I don't doubt they'll be bringing everyone you interacted with to the stand as well, including myself. Couldn't you ask to be exempt from it with those special privileges? No, especially not me. I was last seen with you, after all. I'd start preparing if I were you. What? I don't think you have anything to hide, but this is still a court case. You'll need to get your story straight, remember as much as you can, and try not to stumble over yourself like you always do. And hopefully you haven't been screwing up your relationship with others. That'll deduct quite a few points from your defense. Right. Yeah, I just hope we get it over with soon. Your conversation was interrupted by the sound of the heavy door at the end of the hall swing open. Peering around the edges of the bars, an eagle clad in full suit of armor emerged from the dark hall. Keep going until I get to where Alex is supposed to testify. Accompanied by a rather bulky ram who seemed to be the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Sit to the advocate. I do. Please state your name and forward to the court. Alexander Piratus Aegis. Alright, you may be seated. Sir Aegis, just call me Alex, if you please. Yes, you're right, of course. Pardon me, Sir Alex. Wow, he sounded just like Aldous just now. Is it true that it was you who escorted Mr. Dave here to Lady Springs location? Yes, I believe it was me. And could you tell the court the reason for that? What do you think? It was Alex's order that we moved out to secure Vincent Park, as well as ensuring Lady Springs' safety. And we did exactly as was told. Why then were you not with Mr. Dave in the inn? Because securing ground against the enemy swarm was more important. My harmonizer was more than up for the task. That's why I stayed back to make sure it did its job. Thanks to it, and everyone's effort, Vincent Park was practically empty by the time Dave made it there. So did you see him going to the inner sanctum on his own? Yes. Was he followed or accompanied by anyone else? No, there really was no one else around. And do you believe this Asper to be a real person? Of course, he is Kody's waiter and assistant at the tavern. The hawk then stepped back to his panel before returning with his sword, brandishing it to the whole court. Your sword. This sword was found close to Mr. Dave when he was first discovered at the sea. Do you recognize it, Sir Alex? The sword Lady Estria duly gifted Dave. Yes, I recognize it. Your Honor, I would like to have this sword marked as People's Exhibit Number 1 and ask that they be admitted into evidence. Does the defense have any objection? No, Your Honor. Very well, the sword will be admitted as People's Exhibit Number 1. Sir Alex. Your Honor. Now, Sir Alex, will you say that Mr. Dave was adept at using the sword? He's far from a swordsman, given that he mostly helped me inside the lab. But the sword is also enchanted by Lady Estria herself, enabling ease of residence with Dave. This means even an inexperienced child could wield it, provided they resonated with it first. That is. And Sir Alex, were you aware of any reason as to why Lady Spring might have given the sword to Mr. Dave? If he is as inexperienced as you claim, and only facilitated by Her Excellency's blessing to wield the sword, what then made him so special in the first place? Hold on. Where are you going with this? Let's answer the question, Sir Alex. The people would like to know why Lady Spring gave such a dangerous weapon to such an unknown and inexperienced individual. Objection leading. Overruled. It is a valid concern for members of the public. Please answer the question, Alex. The ladies hesitated for a moment as he looked towards Alaric, who only replied with a small nod. Fine, the cat's out of the bag at this point, I suppose. It is precisely because Dave is the hero of the prophecy. Needless to say, what Alex said shook the jury to its core. Many of them began hollering and pointing fingers at him, calling him names that he was telling lies. Order in the court. You may continue. Thank you. You people are free to believe what you wish, but none of what I said was fabricated. I had ran tests on Dave and confirmed his otherworldly properties, and as I understand it, the Evil King did try to summon him to his place. Only the Maker would know the intentions behind that, but the truth of the matter is, it was thanks to Lady Estria who successfully intercepted the summoning and brought Dave into the fold. Pray tell then, but you still question her, when it was she who has deemed him befitting the next hero of our land? He broke a cold sweat as an unusual silence loomed over the courtroom. All eyes were on you. You felt like the stares were lasting forever. Eventually, it was the guild master who decided to speak up again. Any further questions for the public? Mr. McGold. Your Honor, the people rest their case. Does the defense have any questions? He glanced aside to the fox, who was much too insulted to articulate an answer. So too was the hawk, who still seemed shaken as he retreated to his panel. Mr. Goodman, no, not at this point in time, Your Honor. Very well. The current witness may be dismissed. Is the defense ready with its case? Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls the close friends of the defendant to the stand. The fox had barely regained his composure as the next witness was called. Fesson promptly approached the stand, stopping short by the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, said Tuesday Edward? Fesson does. Please state your name and full to the court. Fesson Vera. You may be seated. You and perhaps half the courtroom as well watched intently as the mouse raised his stepping stool a few notches before climbing back up on top. Facing the witness stand, Sir Fesson, is it? Yes, it is. Fesson, Sir Saul. I have some questions for you. The mouse nodded his head slowly. The court understands that you work under Sir Alexander as his lab assistant, correct? Yes, Fesson believes so. Do you know the defendant, Sir Fesson? The defendant is Sir Saul, referring to Sir Dave? Yes. Okay. Well, Fesson is proud to say that Sir Dave is actually Fesson's co-worker at Master Alex's lab. And Master Alex had made mention of it, but during the observatory incident, Fesson was trapped within the research chamber and the water level was rising. Had Sir Dave and Master Alex not came to rescue, Fesson might have drowned there, and the whole tower would be none the wiser. For that, Fesson owes his life to both Sir Dave and Master Alex. If not for them, Fesson wouldn't even be here by now. Please remain quiet, members of the public. You may proceed, Fesson. Yes, Master Alex, sir. Well, if I may, I just wanted to say that we are glad you're still with us, Sir Fesson. Fesson thanks you as well, Sir Saul. Well, since Dave seems to know both you and Sir Alexander, how would you characterize their relationship as well? Fesson believes they are on very good terms. Is that so? Yes, ever since Sir Dave's arrival, Master Alex has been much happier. Sir Dave helped make Master Alex smile more. Sometimes Master Alex even talk about Sir. You heard a very faint shh as the mouse looked over to where Alex sat. Their barrel's lengths faintly put both arms up in a diagonal cross shape, likely telling the mouse to stop talking. Fesson would like to comment on this matter no longer. In any case, Fesson wishes to vouch for Sir Dave's innocence in this matter. I see. And lastly, Sir Fesson, have you any comments on this Ashford character that Dave claimed to be responsible for all this? Fesson remembers Ashford. Fesson sees him regularly whenever Fesson goes to Sir Kody's tavern to pick up food for Master Alex. Fesson always thought Sir Ash was very kind to Fesson. Normally, people made fun of Fesson for being small and the way Fesson talks. but not so ass. That's why when Fesson heard the heinous intentions asked for help for our city, Fesson could hardly believe it. Poor Fesson wishes for it not to be the case, but at the same time, Sir Dave also could not be the culprit here. That's all Fesson wishes to speak on the matter. I want to thank you, Sir Fesson. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Any questions from the prosecution? No, Your Honor. I see. The witness is excused. Alright, so that was Alice's part. So now we're going to do Kody's part. I think that's to be the last one. Just beyond the iron bars, you spotted Kody sitting at a small table at the back of the hall. Noticing your movements, Kody rose from his seat, quickly moving closer to the bars. Dave, you're finally awake. Are you alright? Are you hungry? Tensai should be back any minute with our dinner. Yeah, I do feel a bit hungry. Thanks for worrying about me, Kody. Think nothing of it. Excuse me. You have to give him some space, sir. Though given that his accommodations, he has all the space he needs. Tensai came from down the hall, carrying a tray filled with food. He slid you a smaller tray through the bars of the cell. On it was a complete meal set of salad, rice topped with a fresh egg, a bowl of soup, and a side of stir-fried vegetables. I set aside the dishes you asked me for earlier. I hope this whole ordeal hasn't made you lose your appetite. Right, you set aside ingredients, Tensai? Only enough to make dinner for ourselves, sir. Sir Alaric has already put in a request for supplies from Hainan once the ships return from their delivery. So I'm sure he won't mind if he treats ourselves this one time. If you're sure it's okay, thanks Tensai. Thanks, Kody. Enjoy your meal will be thanks enough. Now eat up before it gets cold. You waited until Tensai and Kody had their food in front of them before you started digging in. It brought you a warm comfort getting to eat with them again, despite all that had happened. Though it still left a pit in your stomach thinking of Asford's absence. What's the condition out there, Tensai? I've heard from the guild scouts that the guardian crystal destroyed half the city. Thankfully, it appears that there were no major casualties associated with the affected areas. There are still missing people's reports coming in to the front desk. The merchant ships have departed, taking refugees to Hainan, and there's talks of ships heading to Siberia. The Autumn's domain, is it very far away across the ocean? From the maps I've seen, yes, but for that reason it's been an appealing prospect. The king's influence hasn't been able to make progress so far. I guess it's only natural for the people to be desperate to find peace of mind. Speaking of, Dave, you stopped mid-swallow, turning your head to show you were paying attention. For my own peace of mind, what happened back there when you went inside Elisa's sanctuary? You tried to answer with your mouth full, but Kody stopped you and encouraged you to finish up first. The two talked about what to do with the current supply of food before the new one arrived while waiting for you to finish. Once you finish your meal, you launch into your retelling of the events. The confrontation with Asford, his heel turn, revealed his escape in his final deception. I think I need a minute. Kody stepped out of view into the hall. You heard a series of loud crunching and crackling sounds that shook the prison until he returned, as calm as usual. Everything alright, Kody? Yes, I'm alright. I can't believe I was fooled like this. Don't be too hard on yourself, sir. It appears that no one predicted this was a possibility. Not even Lady Spring herself. That may be so still to operate right under my nose for years. I was even arranging to have him take over the Honeysuckle once I got back into mercenary work full time. Guess it was pointless in the end. That's not true, Kody. Yes, he deceived everyone, but without his help, your business wouldn't have lasted this long, right? For all the bad he's done to everyone, he helped you bring a lot of hope to everyone as well. You saw how much it mattered to everyone in the cafe to have somewhere to rest and eat. Maybe I'm just being optimistic, but despite everything, that's something he couldn't take from you. I guess there's some truth in what you say. I'm still feeling conflicted over all this. Yeah, I guess you still would, huh? Still know I'm here for you, Kody. Thanks, Dave. Don't forget about me too. We won't, Tensai. Actually, do you know when they plan on releasing me? It appears that is yet to be determined. Say what? Master Alec had a missive sent to the tavern that a trial will be held for your involvement with the Crystal's fall. The rumors going around say the district representatives strong-armed Alaric into compliance. They'll be making up the jury and have selected the witnesses to judge your character. We've also been selected among the witnesses, so you can bet we'll be defending you. Indeed. You're a good person, Dave. You don't deserve to have the blame pinned on you. Thanks, Kody. Okay. He lit aside as Kody approached a witness stand, accompanied by a rather bulky ram who seemed to be the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sake to the end of it? I do. Please state your name in full to the court. Kody Dimitri. Midden Dorothy. Kody Dimitri Middendorfy. Appears a little slow. Alright, you may be seated. So, Kody, you can just call me Kody. Right, Sir Kody, is it true that it was you who escorted Mr. Dave here to Lady Springs location? Yes, it was me. And could you tell the court why you had done so? Well, Sir Alaric who told us to get to the park and check up on Lady Spring's well-being, so that's what we did. Why then did you leave Dave be in the end? I'm sorry. Maybe I underestimated the situation. Near the park, we ran into a camp full of injured people, men, women, and children. They needed immediate attention, so I stayed to help. Dave was only supposed to find Lady Spring. We made sure the way leading to the park was clear. I didn't know it would end up like this. Sir, it's alright. That's why we're here tonight, to get to the bottom of this. So then, Sir Kody, does this mean you saw Mr. Dave heading inside the inner sanctum? Yes, sir. Was he followed or accompanied by anyone else at all? No, sir, I don't think there was anyone else around. And do you believe this Ashford to be a real person? Well, why, yes. Ashford was my assistant at the honeysuckle for the longest time. The hunk then stepped back to his panel before returning with a sword, brandishing it to the whole court. I think so. It's a sword Lady Spring gave to Dave the other day. Your Honor, I would like to have the sword marked as People's Exhibit Number 1, and that's that they be admitted into evidence. Does the defense have any objection? No, Your Honor. Very well. The sword will be admitted as People's Exhibit Number 1. Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Sir Kody, would you say that Mr. Dave was adept at using the sword? I suppose if he could wield a knife, then a sword would be no problem for him, right? Pardon, a knife, sir? Yes, I mean a kitchen knife. He's been helping me in the kitchen after all, though I did give him regular exercises and teach him hand-to-hand combat. His training is progressing fine, if I do say so myself. I see. So you're saying that he worked as your Sioux self that had some experience in boxing? Not exactly. He's more like my assistant. And what I taught him is more useful than boxing. Yes, you're right, of course, but the point still stands that he is in training, Sir Kody. Yes, he is. Then were you aware of any reason as to why Lady Spring gave him that sword? Because from what you described, Mr. Dave is more akin to a cooking training, with some exposure to close quarter combat. And that begs the question, what exactly is so special about Mr. Dave to warrant this much blessing from Her Excellency? The bear looked to Alaric, unsure what to do or say any moment. After a brief moment of hesitation, the old tiger only replied with a curt yet firm nod. Kody then gave you a quick look before turning to Hawk. Well, it's because Dave is the hero in our prophecy. Needless to say, what Kody said shook the jury to its core. Many of them began hollering, pointing fingers at him, calling him names that he was telling lies. Or in a court. You may continue. Thank you, Alaric. Listen, everyone, I know it sounds like nonsense because at first I didn't believe it either, but it's true. Dave is from another world. I still don't understand all the details, but Dave was dragged here against his will. It was Lady Spring who happened to help him, pulling him to safety at her place. At that point, it made sense if she thinks he's the next hero. I mean, it is her decision after all, right? He broke a cold sweat as an unusual silence loomed over the courtroom. All eyes were on you, and you felt like the stares were lasting forever. Eventually, it was the guild master who decided to speak up again. Any further questions from the people, Mr. McGill? Your Honor, the people rest their case. Does the defense have any questions? He glanced aside to the fox, who was much too in shock to articulate an answer. So too was the hawk, who still seemed shaken as he retreated to his panel. Mr. Grebman. No, not at this point in time, Your Honor. Very well, the current witness may be dismissed. Is the defense ready with his case? Tensai promptly approached the stand, stopping short by the clerk. Raise your right hand. Do solemnly affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Cetus de edivit. I do. Please state your name and forward to the court. Tensai Amatsu. You may be seated. Sir Amatsu, the court understands that you are Sir Kody's most recent employee, correct? Correct, I am. One of his assistants. And would you say you're well acquainted with the defendant? I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Care to tell us more about him, sir? Well, just as any other travelers, his story of the world beyond is nothing to scoff at. I believe you should hear it from the man himself during his testimony later. As for myself, I'd like to remain neutral in this matter. May we know the reason as to why? Because as a fellow outlander, let's just say it's not my place to comment what's right and wrong about his actions. Thank you. Alright then, and finally, what are your thoughts of this aspect character that Mr. Day believed to have been responsible for all of this? As far as my knowledge goes, Ashford's behaviors were admittedly peculiar. However, I cannot testify to the alleged dubious nature of his actions. That, of course, implies that Ashford does indeed exist. It was my co-worker for the duration of my tenure as kitchen assistant. I see. Thank you, sir. I have no further questions, Your Honor. Any questions from the prosecution? No, Your Honor. Very well. The witness is excused. To be continued. Alright, so we cover all the characters in their parts when it came to meeting Dave in the jail cell and their prosecution, their testimony in the court, as well as the different characters giving out their own, different characters having their own say during the testimony, depending on which route you go through. Like, in Max's route, you'll see Toby. In Max's route, you see Toby. In Ray's route, you'll see Finn. In Kody's route, in Alex's route, you see Feston. And then Kody's route, you see Tensai. So basically, people who are like other friends or assistants of the main characters, the main characters, they get the opportunity to testify in the court. Alright, so I think I covered about everything for this update. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.